Hello, I'm Diane. Welcome to my channel, Diane in Stitches, where I'll be talking all about my sewing life and what I make, what I'm going to make, any fabrics I buy, etc. And I hope you'll pick up some useful hints and tips along the way. This is going to be quite a quick one because we're going on holiday tomorrow, as I mentioned before, and it's an early start. We're going to be in bed early tonight. Excuse me looking a bit frazzled. We've been packing and unpacking and repacking and doing all sorts of jobs that we need to finish off before we go. I'm wearing a Love Notions La Belladonna top. This is one, I made this ages ago, and it's one of the shorter ones with the band and the bands around the sleeves. It's basically front and back of the same pattern piece. You just cut lower for the front, sew them together. You can do cowl neck, there's a hood, you can make it a dress, you can make it a tunic length. Very versatile pattern. And this fabric was from UK Stretch Fabrics. I think I must have made this a couple of years ago at least. Into my nails, you might be able to spot on my toenails. Anyway, so that's what I'm wearing. So the update, before I go, just thought I'd pop on and give you a quick update on what's been happening. I finished Keith's shirt, so I'll pop some pictures in. He's agreed to have it photoed, and he did a little bit of a twirl in the garden this morning. So again, I want to just remind it's the Kwik Sew 3422, and this is the fourth one I've made, and I've always done the short sleeve one. A couple of strange things about this pattern. Well, the good thing about this pattern is that when you do whichever size you want, you can then cut out whichever size neck you want. So it doesn't matter, you can have the extra large with a 15.5-inch collar, or small size with the largest collar. So that was I didn't really, I don't know, I can't remember under what circumstances I bought this pattern and whether it was a deciding factor. I really can't recall. But the strange thing is, apparently when you make the short sleeve version, there's a different collar and band. It's a combined collar and stand. And I think I did that on the first shirt I made for Keith. And that's just got, so it's just, you just cut out the particular size inch-wise that you need for the neck. The confusing thing about this is the body front and back is exactly the same for the long sleeve and the short sleeve. So why are they instructing you to do the combined collar and stand? I'm not sure. So I just decided on the other versions and this one that I would do the separate collar band, stand and collar. But I think there's a mistake on these patterns, because when you look at this is the actual collar piece, it still refers to small, medium, large, etc., even though it's got the size, the inches that you make. So if I've picked up the 17.5, I've traced off the 17.5 inch. That makes the shirt. I think it falls on the XL, extra large size. So you just have to ignore those sizes and just cut the actual inches that you need for your collar. So that's what I did. So I'm not happy with it, shall we say. I can never get these front, the button, just where the button and buttonhole go on the front stand. And I was having a think the other day after I'd done the shirt. There's a different way of attaching the shirt collar, and I'm sure I'd seen a video on it, and I've actually found it this morning and I've bookmarked it, because what they tell you to do is this one, where you sandwich the collar between the stands and then you attach the whole unit to the top of the shirt body, and then you flip that over, and then you have to top stitch it in place. But the other method, and I thought, I'm sure I've I'm sure I've done that method. And I actually checked, I've done a Friday Pattern Company Butano shirt, and I looked at the instructions this morning and found that the alternative, this alternative way of attaching the collar is what I did on the Butano shirt. So I'm thinking, why? Never thought really. Why didn't I think about that? And you attach the band. You attach one band on one side, and then another collar band stand on the other side of the neckline, and you sew them on separately from where there's like a notch from where you start, where your collar piece goes, and you sew down both sides and then across, and your stand is then attached to the body of your shirt, and then you put one side of the stand onto your collar. It's difficult to explain. I'll put a link to the video below. It's I think a better way of doing it, and I've never thought of doing it for this one, but anyway, he's happy with it. You'll notice no pattern. You can't see the pocket very well. I've tried to pattern match the pocket, but I just thought I just need to get this done, and I just cut. I thought it's not that huge a pattern to worry about, but I'm beginning to wish I had pattern matched it now, but hey ho. So we've done a medium size and with a 17.5-inch collar. And what we've done, what Keith wanted doing initially when I made this first one is, I'll just undo, this is the front piece. He didn't want the curved hem, so I've just turned that up, but I might as well cut that off. And then I just added an inch to the actual body length, and I've done that from all four versions that I've done now. So he's quite happy with that. The only other issues with this one is it's saying about which bits to interface. So there's one collar stand, one collar piece, and then the cuffs if you're doing the long sleeve. It doesn't mention anywhere the front placket. It's not a separate placket. You just turn it under twice down a fold line and then again. But I have interfaced the button and buttonhole bands before I did this turning in. So that's it. I mean, I've tried different patterns. I ordered a couple of patterns. There was one that has flat fell seams. What was that one? The Fairfield by Thread Theory. But it was a very complicated explanation of how to adjust for the collar size with putting the pattern piece. It was just really, it was like an online blog of how they'd done it. And it was just confusing. And I thought, I'll stick to this one, because the thing with this one, it's very strange, is they're only 1/4-inch seam allowances throughout, which that was the thing that was bothering me. I've done 1/4-inch. I think stretch fabrics are usually 1/4-inch, and I'd never come across it before on a paper, woven pattern. But actually, it's turned out not too bad. I know I've seen things on YouTube about saying if you've got a 3/8-inch seam allowance on the neckband, it's a good idea to just use a 1/4-inch, and that's where it comes quite handy, because you've not got a huge seam allowance to try and sew up. So I've actually got quite used to it really now. And what I do is I sew it on the sewing machine, and then I literally run the overlocker down the seam with the left needle more or less hitting where the sewing machine needle is, and just neaten the edges on the overlocker, and it's been absolutely fine. It didn't want, this fabric was a two-sided fabric, which I found very weird. It was a bit like a double gauze actually. You can actually separate the front and the back fabric, and then where it's like what I'm calling footballs, they're like a football design, the checked white circles. That's where they're sort of attached together, but you can actually separate the two fabrics apart from where these balls are. And it frayed like crazy. It was really, really so took about shredding everywhere. But he decided he didn't want the funny, like, one side out and one side in and here and there. And so I've just done it. The inside yoke is obviously the darker side, and then the rest, all the inside, is just the lighter side. So he's quite happy with that. It's in his case, and there we go. I'm back recording on my older setup. My gimbal's all in the bag, in the hand baggage bag, ready to take off. I did go out last weekend. We went to walk along the canal, which I'll put some pictures in, and I did a little bit of some videos in. I did a little bit of a test with the DJI app, and there was a little bit of a jerking as I played on the playback. So I think it seems to be better just putting the camera on the phone on and disregarding the app. So we'll just have to see how it goes on holiday and see how it all works. So I think that's all I need to really get on. So as I say, we're just getting relaxing now. We're going to have an early night. The taxi's coming at 4 a.m. I don't mind that as much as we've picked the flights. It's a 7 a.m. Takeoff from East Midlands. And so it lands at about, I think, local time, Paphos, 1:30 in the afternoon. So that's a nice time. What I don't like is midnight landing and 2 a.m. and it's just, I think, and then you've got to drive home. But luckily this time we haven't, because we booked this taxi both ways, which was turned out probably cheaper, if not about the same, as we were going to book a night in the hotel at East Midlands Airport. And then the lady who we booked it through said they don't do the park, and you could book. We've gone before from there, and we drove down, stayed overnight, and there's a section of the car park where you used to be able to leave your car for your 2 weeks holiday. Seems they don't do this now, and I tried to look into it and couldn't find any other information. And I phoned up this hotel chain, and I obviously just got head office and not the actual hotel. And she was trying. She says, I think they do, and I'm thinking, well, I can't rely on. There was like the alternative was the airport car park, which was right at the far end. Obviously, there's going to be a bus, but that was going to be 100 and something for the 2 weeks, and the taxi's only costing us 150 return. So it was a no-brainer, really, as they say. Save us the hassle of driving, and it'll just all be sorted out. So that's it. So I'm hoping we're going to have I think the weather's looking, I think they've got rain this weekend when we arrive, but then next week's looking fantastic. So that's all right. The suitcase is all packed. I hope I've got enough. It's mostly me-made clothing. So I'm not doing me-made May, but I'll be wearing me-made clothing probably for most of the holiday. So yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to it. I've still got this throatiness and like a bunged up feeling. I went and got some tablets from the pharmacy yesterday, and decongestant type things, and they set my heart, and I got a bit of palpitations, and I thought, oh, I don't want any more. I'm having trouble with those already. Won't go into that. So I thought, not taking any more. So I've rung the doctors this morning just to see if I can. He was trying to get me. I've not heard yet. See if I could speak to somebody or have an appointment possibly later today. I don't know, because they were saying they were busy. But anyway, if not, I'll just find a doctor when we get there. We've got the GHIC cards, and we know a good pharmacy. So anyway, that's by the by. So how far we'll get from Paphos? There was a fabric shop in Limassol that I used to go to. Whether we'll get that far, we will be probably hiring a car. Whether we'll get that far or not, I don't know. Whether I'll be tempted into any fabrics if we go there, I don't know. But we shall see. So that's about it. thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this quick short video. Thank you if you've liked my previous videos. Thank you again for all the subscribers. I've got a few more extra new subscribers this week. It's slow and steady, shall we say. I'm not breaking any records, I don't think. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy watching, do consider doing so. It doesn't cost you anything and it helps the channel to get promoted elsewhere on YouTube. And if you hit the little bell icon, you'll get notified when I release a new video. So with that, I will say goodbye for now. I don't think I'm going to be posting anything while I'm away because I can't work out. Well, I won't be able to get my little thumbnail anyway. I don't know how to use the editing things on the phone. It's too complicated. I've got shaky hands anyway. I don't know how I did have difficulty getting this nail varnish on with my tremor. Anyway, I will see you all on the other side. Hope you all have a lovely week, fortnight, and I'll try and catch up with a little bit of a holiday review catch up when I get back. So, as I said, bye for now. Enjoy your sewing, enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you all on another video. This is a fabulous show every year of the wild garlic.